Okay, so I'm going to make a video not about this Radofin, but about my Mattel Aquarius, which those who in the know will know that used to be a Radofin computer, and I think it actually did become a Radofin computer again after Mattel decided to wash their hands of it. But this is the archive, and I have my Mattel Aquarius which is running, my real genuine machine. And what's going on here is I have written a new program for it, and it's taken me a good 9 months to come up with it. I came up with a genius plan, but I made things as awkward as possible as I could possibly do for it. So I've developed this on a PC, and this is the first time I'm actually going to try it on a real machine. So it's going to be Aquarius 2. These are mini discs, by the way, they're not any sort of fancy computer file format. What's on here is basically an audio file. So if I switch that off there and switch that off there, take the disc out. Right, now I've designed all this to run on an unexpanded Aquarius, so I guess the first thing I need to do is to make it an unexpanded Aquarius. Right, so what we've got here is a 4K computer. And 4K sounds really impressive, but it's not actually quite as good as that, because 2K is used for the graphics. And that leaves 2K for programming, you would think, but no, because there's 256 bytes of system data. There's a few other bytes of data that takes off that, and if of course you write a program that uses any variables, well, they've got to come out that memory as well, or you get an out of memory error. So basically you don't have much memory. Now I've come up with a cunning plan. The screen takes up 4K. It takes up 2K, sorry. 1K is so that you can remember where the characters are on the screen, because there's 1000 cells, and the colour takes up another 1000 cells. Now what if I don't use all of the screen for the game, right? I only use half the screen, and then hide machine code in the screen memory. That was my plan. Okay, so this is going to go. I've had some technical difficulties, which initially I was blaming on the mini display, but I think may have actually been caused by my phone. Since I put my phone into airplane mode, everything seems to be playing a little bit better. Right. So anyway, so I've got to C-load the first bit of code off the tape. So I need to find 13. Where's 13? There we go. Right. So this program loads in 3 separate sections. And the program's called Dumb because it's called Dumb Invaders. I call it Dumb Invaders because I didn't put any routine in where they would fight back. Now, the first bit of the program, all it does is it loads into the colour space this seemingly random band of colours. Now, it's actually the machine code for the screen loader, which I'll be using later. Okay, remember I've only got 1.7K RAM to play with here. So now it's loading what is basically the basic part of the program, all the basic components. What it doesn't contain is anything to do with updating the general layout of the screen, or indeed the machine code. That comes in the third part. Okay, and all this runs now is it runs that bit of machine code at the top there. Okay, and then hopefully when it sees the data stream, it'll start painting onto the screen the data, and you will see that this is the player field in the middle, and all this down the side here is the machine code. So the machine code starts for a section of machine code will start there, go along there. If it gets to there and I need more machine code, it'll jump across to the next bit, and that'll be the end of that particular machine code run, and then the next bit runs, the next bit runs. I've also put a bit of graphics in this area as well because I had a bit to spare. Obviously I couldn't overwrite this bit of colour here because that's the screen loader program, but when it finishes it'll then go back to the basic and the basic can run the program, and the machine code can run the machine code. And I got that all working, like I say, in 1.7. So the idea is to shoot the aliens before I get to the ground, but you've also got this rogue alien as well, which is there to spoil your day. And that little bit of graphics there, which you see was that little bit of graphics that's actually hidden in that area down here. I say hidden, all I've done is I've set the sides to black on black, so you can't see any of the characters, where in the middle bit it's all white on black, so you can see what's going on in that section. So in terms of the little machine code routines that I've created, there's obviously a machine code routine that pushes the aliens to the right. There's another piece of machine code that pushes them to the right. There's a bit of machine code that checks the edges to see if the aliens are in the have hit the edge of the screen, in which case there's another routine which moves the aliens down by one, but also changes the direction of the aliens. So they'll come along, go down, and then go back again. And that's how that goes. There's also a routine to draw the laser, take care of the collision, and then to wipe the laser off the screen. And it also updates the screen there. This I need to hide. Obviously I've just run out of those few extra bytes where I could tidy that little bit up. I've come up with an idea. What I can do is actually, that's actually the beginning of one of the machine code routines. Actually, if I move the machine code routine over by 4 and then just paint it in there, then you'll be able to see that, and it won't cost me any memory. But that is running, so I'm quite happy with that. So let's start again. I'm going to try and play this with one hand, which is difficult. So basically they don't fight back, so all you've really got to do is just blast and blast away. But the reason I put the extra little drone in there is because he's the problem item. He's the one that's going to distract you and get you to make mistakes, because he's the guy that's got his own rules. Where are we at here? Right. Every time you hit him, all he does is goes back to the beginning like that. So if you're able to blast all the normal aliens away, you get to go to the next level. There's more aliens. They start lower down, and basically that's about it, really. That's as exciting as the game gets. I'm really not showing you this because I think the game's particularly good. I'm just saying the only reason I put it on the internet is because I thought it was an interesting way of getting more memory into a game that might not necessarily be there. I'm getting a bit good at this. When I first started playing this, it was more tricky than it perhaps appears now. I usually get to about 2,500 before. Oops, hang on. Come on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to die. Oops, hang on. I mightn't have to pretend. Oh, come on. Alright, there we go. Oops. Let's get rid of him while we get the chance. And, okay, and that's it. Another level complete. And as you can see, they're getting quite close now, and it's now getting difficult to do it by one hand, and I need to be getting rid of the aliens that... Ah, no, I'm dead. So there you go, something I've managed to do on a 1.7k Aquarius. Now, obviously I've written this entirely in machine code. It probably would have been, I probably could have had many bytes of data to spare. It's because I'm using a combination of basic with some assembly routines that I need to keep as much basic space whilst also having somewhere to put the machine code routines. Obviously I'm writing all these games, you set the machine code parts by hand, so I'm just using pen and paper and then using the table to convert the bytes of information across into data statements. Obviously there's another program which is not here, which is the program that takes the data statements I've written and actually draws them onto the screen and then saves that screen as a data file, which this playing part of the game. Doesn't need. All it needs is it needs to load up this screen with the machine code and the graphics and everything, and then all the basic has to handle then is the logic of the game, updating the scores, producing sounds and what have you. I dare say I'm very, very close to being able to write something entirely in machine code, and that's probably going to be the next task, the next thing. It probably won't be anything like as complicated again, but I'm going to try and do everything entirely in machine code for the good old Mattel Aquarius. Long live Aquarius.